tes, 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 cek, cek. Cek, tes, tes. Cek, cek, tes.
Pakai ini juga ya, Mas ya? Mbak, pakai ini juga?
Iya, Pak.
Sandaran atau enggak? Enak ya? Sandaran ya?
Iya, Pak. Nyanyi dulu, Pak. Indonesia Raya. Belum. Tinggal PI, kemudian nanti saya kasih bentar ngomong, terus saya invite.
Ini di sini ya?
Nggak apa-apa, di sini nggak kelihatan, Pak, nanti. Nanti dipindah. Hmm. Nggak apa-apa.
Ini dibuka dulu, Bro. Masuk orang-orang ke
Iki supaya ana gambare piye?
Tiga dua.
Oh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the Engineering Business Summit participants that have gathered online on this very momentous day. My name is Fadila, and I'm deeply honored to be your MC for this event. Today, we gather here to delve into an utmost important topic, blue economy as the next economic growth and social development driver, particularly focusing on developing a blue economic ecosystem within the Asian region. Before we proceed to the main agenda, let us begin this special occasion by showing our respect and unity through the Indonesian national anthem Indonesia Raya, which will be followed by the hymn of Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia.
cakrawala dunia. Kami insinyur Indonesia, kami memajukan bangsa, mensejahterakan masyarakat untuk kemanusiaan semesta alam. Kami insinyur Indonesia, siap membangun bangsa.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have come together to delve into the era of the blue economy as the next driving force for economic growth and social development. It gives us immense pride to introduce the BEED initiative, a platform designed to foster collaboration among BEED members and catalyze the Asian's transformation into a hub for blue economy activities. In this integrated framework, we will intricately explore the dynamics of maritime supply chains and logistics, all aimed at realizing an eco-friendly and prosperous blue economy ecosystem. Without further ado, let us commence this event by hearing the opening remarks from the President of PII that will be delivered by the Secretary General of PII, Insinyur Bambang Guritno, MSc, MPA, IPU. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Praise and gratitude we pray to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us the opportunity to gather and at this extraordinary moment. I am on behalf of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia and AFEO congratulate the organizers for organizing committee for the second FGD event with this theme, Blue Economy, and is the next economic growth and social development driver. My warm gratitude to ladies and gentlemen participants in this third FGD as part of Asian Engineering Business Summit event. Our oceans are not only the largest ecosystem in the world, but also a huge economic system, a blue economy. The need for more sustainability in this area becomes more visible every day, not only because oceans and seas must be in the good ecological and chemical conditions to develop their economic and social potentials. According to the World Bank, the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improve livelihoods and jobs while preserving the health and of ocean ecosystem. As the 2023 Asian Chair, Indonesia is committed to realizing Asian Blue Economic Framework as one of the priority economic deliverables. The blue economy has great potential in Asia because more than 66% of the area in the Southeast Asian region is oceans and seas. There is no doubt that the blue economy has the potential to become a new engine for Asian development. Ladies and gentlemen, participants of this FDG session, the transition to a blue economy is a new opportunity to increase GDP growth to overcome the inherent middle income status of several Asian countries. The blue economy also is simultaneously support the achievement of sustainable development goals. Ladies and gentlemen, participants in the third focus group discussion part of this Asian Engineering Business Summit, we certainly expect the series of FGDs inviting all stakeholders in this blue economy development will give us more insight, ideas, and innovation to bring this concept into reality in the scale of ASEAN. You may find interesting today as each country will share their knowledge, experience, and ongoing blue economy program. Ladies and gentlemen, participants of this FGD, on this occasion, allow us to say again that as a large organization, we should be proud that PII has just celebrated its 71st birthday on the last May 23rd. PII in its journey has transformed into a professional engineering organization through a mandate of Law number 11 to 2014 has achieved various important milestones, which includes international recognition of PII as part of International Engineering Alliance since 2020. PII in 2021 through the Indonesian Accreditation Board of Engineering Education, or IABI, has become a full signatory member of the Washington Accord, truly an extraordinary achievement as a result of the collaboration of all elements and components of PII. The third, the significant increase in PII members to 80,000 members this year was driven by the support of the leaders of national and private companies in registering their staff with engineering degrees. Number four, increasing the number of professional engineers to 20,000, which include hundreds of foreign engineers practicing engineering practice in Indonesia. Next, increasing the number of professional engineers registered with the Asian Engineering Register to more than 2,200 people. Establishment of PII overseas chapters, such as in PII Singapore, PII Malaysia, PII Kuwait, PII United States, and PII Australia, and others, to provide maximum support for increasing the mobility of Indonesian engineers to work and practice engineering in Indonesia. PII's support in supporting universities in implementing the Engineers Profession Program, which has currently produced more than 70,000 engineers through this program. PII signed a mutual recognition agreement with Engineers Australia as a form of economic cooperation between Indonesia and Australia. The signing of the MRA, which took place in Australia a few weeks ago at Engineers Australia National Office in Canberra, and was included in the joint communique between Australia and Indonesian government as a result of the President Joko Widodo's state visit to Sydney, Australia from the 3rd to 5th July 2023. All the above achievement certainly due to the cooperation of all components and elements of the Institution of Engineers Indonesia, starting from the element of branch leadership, regions, and elements of implementing engineering practices bodies such as engineering college, implementing bodies, and permanent bodies of the PII. Kindly allow us again to express our deepest gratitude to the FGD organizers by raising the topic, blue economy is the next economic growth and social development driver, which is also one of the contemporary engineering issues in Indonesia and ASEAN as a form of commitment to continue to encourage our Asian engineers to continuously contribute their thoughts to the society, nation, and the country, keep updating their knowledge and developing their professionalism. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, always guide and protect all our steps in realizing our common goals as one ASEAN family. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Bambang, for your insightful words. Your leadership and dedication to the world of engineering excellence are truly inspiring. Next, let us listen to the keynote speech from the Minister of Transportation of Republic Indonesia, Mr. Budi Karya Sumadi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, dan salam kebajikan. Yang saya hormati Chairman ASEAN Federation Engineering Organization, Presiden PI, dan para hadirin dan undangan yang berbahagia. Pertama-tama izinkan saya menyampaikan rasa terima kasih atas undangannya untuk hadir pada acara webinar Engineering Business Summit 2023. Satu kehormatan dan keistimewaan bagi saya untuk ikut bergabung pada forum yang penting ini. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, ekonomi biru merupakan upaya optimalisasi pertumbuhan ekonomi yang bersumber dari pemanfaatan sumber daya laut secara inklusif dan berkelanjutan, sehingga turut mendukung pelestarian laut serta ekosistem pendukungnya. Pengembangan perdagangan maritim, transportasi, dan logistik melalui pemanfaatan alur laut Kepulauan Indonesia, ALKI, akan menjadi fokus pembangunan ekonomi biru, yaitu dengan memperluas dan meningkatkan daya saing transportasi laut Indonesia yang terintegrasi dengan transportasi darat dan udara, pelabuhan dan logistik, perdagangan, dan jasa-jasa pendukung maritim lainnya. Ketiga, ALKI merupakan aset transportasi penting di kawasan Asia Tenggara dan dapat dikembangkan lebih lanjut untuk memfasilitasi pertumbuhan pusat perdagangan, hub regional, dan pusat pelayanan di Asia Tenggara. Salah satu jalur perdagangan penting yang melintasi perairan Indonesia adalah Selat Malaka, yang telah berperan sebagai jalur perdagangan internasional utama antara Asia dan Eropa. Adapun beberapa tantangan yang masih perlu dihadapi antara lain disparitas infrastruktur maritim. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, belum optimalnya biaya logistik. Yang ketiga, ketergantungan pada bahan bakar fosil. 4, risiko keamanan di laut masih banyak. Dan kelima, kerjasama dalam pemanfaatan ALKI belum maksimal. Perkembangan perdagangan maritim, transportasi, dan logistik dalam ekonomi biru Indonesia diarahkan untuk meningkatkan kualitas dan integrasi infrastruktur maritim. Yang kedua, mengembangkan Indonesia menjadi global hub melalui penguatan pelayaran serta pengelolaan pelabuhan dan logistik yang lebih profesional. Ketiga, meningkatkan perdagangan antar pulau dan rantai pasok. Keempat, mendorong penghijauan transportasi, perkapalan, pelabuhan, dan layanan logistik. Kelima, memperluas keuangan, penelitian, dan pengembangan maritim. Keenam, meningkatkan pemantauan dan penegakan hukum di laut. Dan terakhir, memperkuat upaya diplomasi dalam merespon dinamika geopolitik, pembatasan perairan melalui kerangka kerjasama bilateral, regional, dan global dalam pemanfaatan alki. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, secara ideal bentuk dukungan transportasi laut dalam mendorong terlaksananya ekonomi biru tidak hanya terbatas pada penyediaan pelabuhan dan jaringan pelayaran, maupun penyediaan armada kapal bersisian khusus, tapi juga terkonsolidasi dengan aspek keselamatan dan keamanan, serta perlindungan lingkungan maritim, termasuk di dalamnya penyediaan sistem kenavigasian, serta penempatan sah bandar dan atau pos kesatuan penjaga laut dan pantai dengan sarana dan prasarana dan SDM yang sesuai standar. Sehingga kawasan-kawasan tersebut dapat menjadi kawasan strategis dengan peningkatan ekonomi wilayah yang dapat mendorong peningkatan ekonomi nasional. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan, Kementerian Perhubungan fokus dalam mencapai sasaran outcome pelaksanaan mandat dari Undang-Undang 17 tahun 2008 tentang pelayaran, khususnya dalam melakukan perlindungan terhadap lingkungan maritim, kualitas layanan transportasi laut yang baik akan menjadi penentu efisiensi dan efektivitas dari capaian pemanfaatan yang diinginkan pada level stakeholder perspektif. Untuk itu, marilah kita semua negara anggota ASEAN dan mitra pembangunan untuk bekerja sama mencapai berbagai manfaat dalam implementasi ekonomi biru, yaitu konservasi, perlindungan lingkungan, baik di darat, pesisir maupun laut, pertumbuhan yang berkelanjutan, penguatan ketahanan pangan, inovasi dan teknologi, serta peningkatan ketahanan terhadap perubahan iklim dan bencana alam. Melalui kegiatan ini diharapkan dapat menciptakan peluang baru untuk pertumbuhan ekonomi dengan tetap menjaga kelestarian ekosistem pesisir dan laut melalui kolaborasi dan kerjasama. Demikian beberapa hal yang penting saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi saya sampaikan terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the exceptional and insightful keynote speech, Mr. Minister. Next, we will move on to our panel discussions and presentations, which will shed light on various topics within the field of engineering. These discussions aim to foster collaboration, innovation, and the exchange of knowledge among professionals in maritime sector. The discussion will be moderated by Professor Dr. Ketut Budha Artana, who is a professor in ITS Surabaya. He has a bachelor degree from Marine Engineering, ITS Surabaya, Master of Science from Newcastle University, and doctoral degree from Kobe University. Let me give a brief introduction for our moderator today. Professor Dr. Ketut Budha Artana has performed numerous research in maritime safety, risk assessment of offshore facilities, risk management, and system reliability. Now, let me invite Professor Dr. Ketut Budha Artana to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been described. My name is Ketut Budha Artana from ITS. I'm very happy to host the esteemed focus group discussion this afternoon. And this focus group discussion will be held in the theme of blue economy as the next economic growth and social development driver. For your information, that today's FGD is organized by Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia, PII, Indonesian Engineering Association, in cooperation with the ASEAN Federation of Engineering Association. Today we will have 5 very distinguished speakers covering the quite various topics of blue economy. The first speakers will be Dr. Amalia Adiningar Widiasanti, and then will be followed by Dr. Kus Pri Setia Hadi, and then Kapten Budi Mantoro, Dr. Arita Tisyana Dewi, and Associate Professor Dr. Saud Gurning. And we are very happy to have those 5 distinguished speakers. We start the discussion by inviting all speakers that join today's offline. We have 2 speakers join online from Korea and Sulawesi, but today we are very happy to host 3 speakers who joined in this event offline. The first one is Kapten Budi Mantoro. Would like to invite Kapten Budi Mantoro to come in the stage, please. Cap. And then the second speakers will be Dr. Saud Gurning. And then the third speaker who joined offline today is Dr. Arita Tisyana Dewi K. We kindly invite Dr. Rita to join the stage, please. And for first speakers, we would like to invite Dr. Kus Pri Setia Hadi. He is the Assistant Deputy for Disaster Climate Change Mitigation, Coordinating Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Investment. And he kindly joined online. Let me invite Dr. Kus Pri Setia Hadi to deliver his presentation. Dr. Kus Pri Setia Hadi will deliver a presentation with the title Strengthening blue carbon ecosystem and governance in Indonesia. The time is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the moderators. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity. So I am from the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Investments. My name is Setia Hadi. I am the Assistant Deputy for Climate Change and Disaster Management. Please allow me to question regarding the strengthening the carbon in Indonesia. Please show the slide. Could you please, the organizer, show my slide?
Mr. Kus Prasetyo, could you unmute the mic, please? We couldn't hear your voice. Would you please unmute the mic?
Okay, thank you. Because the organizers just now to unmute my connections. So thank you. Please share again the presentation. My title today is about the strengthening blue carbon ecosystem governance in Indonesia. Next, please.
Next, please.
Could you slide show the slide, please? Oh, could you back to the first slide and then slide show, please? Slide show. I think there is unconfusing from the organizer. It should be slideshow because I could not see clearly. Could you help me, the moderator?
Next slide, please.
No, I mean slideshow, please.
Could you make it slideshow? Ah, it's already.
Ah, okay. Wait a minute. So in my laptop it is very small. So
Could you see the slide? Bapak? Can you see the slide, Pak Kus? Still
it's now better.
okay.
I think there is an understanding this connection because when I unmute, so I could not unmute without the help from the organizer. So this slide just to show the development of the carbons from year to years, from 2009 until now. That this is the development of how blue carbon challenge in the UNFCCC. Okay, next slide, please. Also in the Americas, we can see in here that from the United States, Costa Rica, Ecuador, and Colombia and Guyana, the blue carbons recently and now and nowadays very popular. Next, please. How about in Asia Pacific? From China to Southeast Asia, Singapore, Philippines, Indonesia, also from the Fiji Islands, the development of blue carbons now very quick. Next, please. The high quality should be in the next slide, but however, just to show that how can we get the high quality blue carbon? That it should be we have developed the high quality blue carbon principles and guidance with the WEF World Economic Forum. The blue carbon action should safeguard if we want to get the high quality blue carbon, and then we have to empower people surrounding the, let's say in surrounding the mangroves, and then we have to employ the best information and carbon accounting principles, also operate contextually and locally, and mobilize high integrity capital. That's all what if we would like to have the high quality on blue carbons. Next, please. Before come to the high quality blue carbons, we would like to connect the why blue carbon is crucial for environmental, social, and governance climate actions. Because I mean, why carbon pricing is crucial for ESG climate action. When we develop the blue carbons, we have an aim to get the carbon credits. Carbon credits mean that we will sell this carbon into as well domestic, also to international ones. So it is as well why carbon pricing, blue carbon is a part of carbon pricing, and then it is connected to environmental, social, and governance climate action. Why it is important blue carbon and also directly connect to the carbon pricing, because carbon pricing is powerful approach and to reduce carbon emission, that is GHG emissions. It plays a crucial role in ESG initiatives. It operates through market mechanism that hold emitters accountable for the costs associated with releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. At its core, carbon pricing uphold the principle of polluter pay principles, ensuring that those responsible for emission bear the economic consequences of their actions. This mechanism establishes a financial incentive to drive a shift away from high emission practices toward the sustainable alternatives. This is from the climate change professionals, that how the connection between blue carbon with the carbon pricing to the ESG. And then next, please. Next, please.
Next, please.
Also, continuing the why carbon pricing is crucial for environmental, social, and governance. We know that the ESG objectives is environmental impacts, and then economic implications, social responsibility, and climate risk management, technological innovation, green finance, and ESG investing, and also regarding the global climate commitments. So the values of the carbon pricing instruments, like Indonesia has already implemented, that is regarding the ETS, and then crediting mechanism, and then result-based climate finance, and internal carbon pricing. Internal carbon pricing means there is carbon trading in domestic and international ones. However, for the carbon tax, we will apply maybe within 2024. Next, please. So in this slide, so that there is a climate funding commitment mobilized by developed countries has not been maximized. That should be about 100 billion US dollar, while the world needs more than 5 times the climate funding by 2030. So for the climate action, we need contribution for international, especially the developed countries. This has been written in the Paris Agreement on 2015, but so far that this contribution for the international to developing countries has never met the maximums, that is 100 billions. So in parallelly, that for the climate actions, actually we need much more. Until 2030, we need about 2,400 billion US dollar. Next, please. This is the potential carbon trading for Indonesia, that so far we have already developed five sectors. That is coal main forestry and land use, and then energy sectors, and then agriculture, and then IPPU, that is related to the industries, and then the last is waste. These 5 sectors is contribute to the NDC, national determined contribution. But we have been committed to the international that Indonesia has to reach about 31%. And then there are two prospectus sectors, that is developing the CCUS. We have so huge capacity, as well on the ocean. That is blue carbon, one part of the potential of the prospectus. Next, please. For the ocean aspect in presidential regulation number 98 2021 concerning the carbon pricing, that it mentioned for the marine or blue carbon sectors, it is led by the Marine and Fisheries Ministry. It is very crucial presidential decree that we have already decided in our national that for the blue carbons led by the KKP. Next, please. So for meet our need on the financial gap, so Indonesia has tried to make cooperation in blue carbon. We have already connected with Saudi Arabia, and then UAE, and then Singapore, South Korea, and then the World Bank as well the World Economic Forum. So through these connections, we try to get some support as well, cooperation among these countries to share the knowledge and experience. Next, please. For the blue carbons, we are in national coordinating Ministry for Maritime Affairs try to stress for at first for mangrove, and then parallelly the KKP, the Ministry for Maritime and Fisheries, try also to develop the seaweed and other blue carbons. So for the mangrove itself, the government of Indonesia has already declared the rehabilitation for 600,000 hectares, and so far as well we got support from World Bank to have about 75,000 hectares, and from 75,000 hectares, we as well manage the conservation aspects about 400,000 hectares. So the aims to get the 600,000 hectares within let's say 2024 until 2027, it will be achieved. And then regarding the potential of rehabilitation of mangrove for the 75,000, it is estimated that it will result of the 20 million ton of CO2 equivalent for 30 years, with the economic value about $351 million US. So we can imagine with this potential number of ton CO2 equivalent with the economic valuation. So Indonesia, I think, in the right track to get the benefit from the carbon, blue carbon. It's in this regard regarding the mangrove. Next, please. Under the coordination of Coordinating Ministry for maritime affairs as well. We have mangrove blue carbon offset readiness project. We will develop the project of blue carbon in North Kalimantan. So we are doing the analysis and research, and then carbon measuring, reporting, and registration systems buildings, carbon regulatory framework, benefits sharing plan, and capacity building. So by this project, we will try to manage about 61,000 61 million thousand hectares. Next, please. This is the potential economic value of blue carbon ecosystems. We refer to the report of World Bank, that World Bank has calculated if Indonesia rehabilitates about 600,000 hectares, since because there is the time is now not from 2021, maybe from then 2022 until 2027. So from the first years until 5 years, so there is a economic value. So this huge of economic value can be utilized by the government to develop the mitigation of the climate change. I mean climate change mitigation. Yeah. Next, please. This is the national coordination with the blue carbons in Indonesia. We hand in hand with the ministries. Here, KKP, Ministry for Environment, as well, Bappenas, and then BRGM and BRIN, as well the Kemendagri and Kementerian Keuangan, Ministry for Finance. Next, please. So regarding the blue carbon, this is from the Ministry for Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. That for the blue carbon sector, we will reach the NDC sector within 2025. It means that blue carbon will be a sector that support the NDC of Indonesia. It is since perhaps in 2025, we with KKP try to reach these targets. Next, please. Also, for the recommendation, we try to integrate and appropriate participation from NGOs, university, private sectors, and other stakeholders in regard to blue carbon development in Indonesia. Also, on the research and development, we try to develop the MRP. Next, increasing the participation of the local government, local people, and for the mangrove ecosystem management. As well, the very important one is the need of law enforcement, because mangrove forest is very vulnerable and rich for people to get the economic value in very quick So it means that there is deforestation of mangrove forest is existing. And then the increasing the economic value of the community, develop a national roadmap we have already had with the KKP, and education and socialization to people and students. And then a consistent and long-term finance, that it is very important one as well. And then the last is enhance the national and local mangrove working group that it is under the coordinating ministry for maritime affairs and investments. I think that's all, moderator, from my presentation. Many thanks.
Staying in your position because we are going to further inviting more speakers, and then the discussion with the audience will be held after all speakers deliver the presentation. You've been mentioning about the blue carbon principle, carbon pricing and trading, mangrove coastal resilience, and potential economic and values of blue carbon economy. And next presenters is Bapak Kapten Budi Mantoro. He's my colleague, very close friend, and he is the Director of Navigation, Ministry of Transportation. He will present a presentation with the title Blue Economy, a Strategy of Maritime Transport Sector. Without further ado, I would like to invite Bapak Kapten Budi Mantoro to have his presentation. Please, Kap.
Thank you, Mr. Prof. Ketut. Close, my friend. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Like Mr. Budi Karya Sumadi said, opening remark, because they said about safety, security, and protection environmental. Okay, what is PowerPoint? Okay. Good day and good afternoon, distinguished Prof. Ketut, Prof. Saud Kuning, Ms. Arita, and for participants at Jaring. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Institution of Engineer Indonesia for inviting us to this important gathering to address numerous initiatives like the blue economy. I am hoping that speaking this event, I discuss a number issues related to maritime environmental protection and the safety of navigation, both which, in my opinion, related the blue economy. Next slide. First, I would like to show you general information and overview about Indonesia and modality that we have. As we aware, Indonesia, an archipelago country consisting of more than 70,000 islands. The territorial waters of Indonesia are defined according to the principle set out the Article 46 of the UNCLOS. There are 179 archipelagic island segments that connect the outermost point of the island and encompass approximately 3 million square archipelago water. It means that Indonesia has large, big area territorial water and will as archipelago water. It is clearly so that Indonesia depends on maritime transportation. Based on that, government of Indonesia has the vision, namely Global Maritime Fulcrum, with purpose goal in the strengthened national and identified as the maritime nation, considering its geographical condition and the most strategic shipping route and gateway for the global economy. Next slide. Inland the previous information. This is Maritime Transport Fact Indonesia based of United Nations Conference of Trade of Development data in 2021. you can see that Indonesia has 2,439 ports, more than 140,000 seafarers and 10,762 ships under national flag. Each one demonstrates Indonesia one of the largest maritime countries. Next slide. The Directorate General of Sea Transportation of Indonesia established a coast radio station and vessel traffic services at numerous places that carry out a function, as well as to improve safety of navigation of Indonesia waters. Coast radio station total 158 stations, including GMDSS and non-GMDSS station. ISP station has already established 66 stations. There are 23 VTS stations, which including VTS Port, VTS Coastal, VTS Inland Water. VTS and coastal radio station and also active in disseminating safety information to vessel navigating in Indonesia water. The data pertain to meteorological, hydrographic, and oceanographic data and well as other relevant safety information. And the frequency coding with medium frequency, high frequency radio. Next slide. To support the promulgation of maritime safety information, including navigational warning, meteorological information, SAR information, Indonesia has 4 NAVTEC stations located in Jakarta, Makassar, Ambon, and Jayapura. Next slide. Related with I2 navigation, as we can see that slide, there are 284 lighthouses and 614 buoy and 1,976 light beacon, which already installed in Indonesia. The Aton is installed and operated according to the standard published by Ayala. Next slide. In order to support the maritime safety and security, also to enhance marine environmental protection major shipping routes in Indonesia, Directorate General Sea Transportation established as designated the sea routing according to provision SOLAS and IMO. The design analysis itself using risk assessment tools such as IWRAP software. Seen as the slide, there are 2 ship routing that have been determined by IMO in Indonesia, SeaLand 1 and SeaN2, namely the TSS Sunda and TSS Lombok Strait. For domestic and local port, there are 111 ship routing have been designated and the planned in 129 on the progress. This total ship routing is according with the master plan of national port, and the plan is 50 ship routing could be designated every year. Next slide. We also will ship that RU buoy maintenance. The number of buoy tender vessel are 23 units. I tender vessel 34 unit and inspection boat 19 unit. This vessel for the maintenance like buoy, like house, etc. Next slide. And nowadays there are several issues we discuss at the IMO, and one of the issue with related with the use technology to enhance the safety of navigation and marine environmental protection in navigation. In navigation is the harmonized collecting, integrating, etching, presentation of analysis of maritime information on board and stored by electronic means to enhance bird-to-bird navigation of related services. For safety and security at sea and protection of the marine environmental, IMO MSC 985 2002 it format the structure maritime service and contact of navigation and IALA guideline 11.7 and R1019. The concept e-navigation based on the interconnection of the ship and shore facilities by seamless communication link, including high-speed broadband data link to ensure safe navigation, particularly in coastal and high traffic area. To send high-speed data, the marine and both the ship and coastal state in order to update information such as updating computerized bridge display in real time. The system will enable vessel to stay links the marine electronic highway at all time, notably during passage through more vulnerable high traffic coastal passage and vessel traffic services. Next slide. One way to understanding the concept of e-navigation is to consider is from user perspective. In this figure, we can see the architecture. The architecture can be divided in the three parts: sea side, shore side, and interaction between ship and shore. The ship side represent in the user on board a ship, with the shore side typical represent use from communities like VTS, allied service, and user from the logistic domain. To enable both sides to communication the exchange information in navigation use the generic term services from user perspective. The important service will be to operational services. The service are referred to within a maritime service. The maritime concept based concrete the safe harmonization. However, they also need to be technical services to be able to support and provide this operational service. Next slide. One of the effort under e-navigation that Indonesia is also doing is connected e-pilotage. So what is the e-pilotage or remote pilotage? E-pilotage could be defined as the integrated system that use electronic device to assist or support the vessel e-piloting service activities. While remote pilotage is part of the method of electronic piloting, the pilot does not have been to on-board vessel. Based on the above definition, and can be concludes that e-navigation is an umbrella for all activities related to e-piloted. They can be seen the type of maritime service that had been identified by IMO, IALA, and ICAO, where there are 16 types of maritime service that can be developed in the context of e-navigation. One of them is SIG maritime service, namely piloted service. Now we revise my regulation of minister from 26. Now there's a new regulation number 4 2022. Next slide. The concept of e-piloted that we build, develop, and implementation of Indonesia and how it's related to the role of vessel traffic services is basically developed based on several international provisions, especially related the provision in IMO resolution EX57 guideline for vessel traffic services and IMO resolution A159 Recommendation of piloted, we also provision in IMO IALA related the implementation of VTS and guideline and in navigation. There are several basic similarities, namely with VTS operation that not change to responsibility of the master, and the detail of the implementation are carried out by the master or pilot. And VTS operator not change by responsibility the master. Based on this fundamental principle, the main concept of piloted that will be developed study further the concept e-piloted with was implemented by pilot using VTS and assistant facility. Next slide. The roadmap of development of navigation in so this slide we call Indonesia in navigation. There are 4 steps, 4 phases starting into 2020. Some activities have been conducted in phase 1, comprised of baseline study testbed, strengthening the concept of the common international symposium on navigation. The cooperation of communication are also developed with major stakeholder in navigation with Maritime University, the Danish Maritime Authority, and Swedish Maritime Administration. Phase 2 comprise of follow-up study, installation of the new equipment and testbed. Phase 3, the activities the installation a new equipment and testbed and main shipping route. And phase 4, evaluation and new concept study. First step that we are going to do enhancing the monitoring coverage, just in time arrival and system integration. Next slide. This slide shows the plan of Indonesia in navigation for maritime digital infrastructure for navigation. As mentioned the previous slide, at the first step, we plan to enhance the monitoring and coverage just in time arrival and system integration. When developing in the infrastructure, we divided 3 zones referring of GMDSSC area. Zone number 1 about 30 until 40 nautical mile, main equipped by IS, radar, VDES, and ICE and LTM. Zone 3 range 300 until 400 nautical mile, monitoring and coverage using long range IS, VDIS. For zone 3 more than 400 nautical mile, we consider using long range and ICE, VDIS. Next slide. As the first step toward enhancing safety and security through the use digital technology, DGIST has developed application system based on interactive online application that integrated IS, radar, PHF, CCTV, surveillance equipment from VTS and coast radio station. This application is also integrated with ETON data and ship routing data, will be utilized for both monitoring and additional analysis. As previously said, Indonesia presently has 158 coast radio stations. Their function require a high number for human resources. According to our estimated, there will be static human resources within next 5 until 10 years more. Based on that situation, DGIST developing the master plan by merging numerous coast radio stations, about only 25 coast radio stations. Okay, next slide. We developed a study related the piloted by utilizing VTS, the main tool implementation under navigation framework. The purpose piloted to private obstain improving services related to pilotic activities. There are some test bed has been conducted, strengthened VTS operating and e-piloted. First phase involving 8 VTS, and second phase there are 15 VTS have been involved. Next please. In order to develop the concept of e-piloted, there are some items will be considered such as where, fairway, stride, the home type of the ship, carrier, tanker, etc. How technology communication by radio, by PHF, MFHF. How operational procedure and information to be your reliability, availability to update, limitation, condition under which services provide, environmental condition, ship condition, human element, responsible person, and number personnel involved, and risk assessment. Mr. Prof, I think ada enough because I to explain about Perintis and Tolaut. Mr. South already usually explain about Tolaut and Perintis. Thank you, Moderator.
Thank you very much, Captain Budi Mantoro. He's been explained to us the very important role of safety operation of ships at sea through aid to navigation, pilotage, which is part of the e-navigation that will be responsible of your directorate for in the near future. Thank you very much, Captain. Then let's us move to the third speaker. We would like to invite Dr. Rita Tiziana Dewi. She is a very prominent person in the strategy of blue economy of Indonesia. I read your the book of you. She is the head of Research Center for Social Maritime Economy and Fisheries, and we are very happy to invite you to deliver for the information on the blue economy in marine and fisheries sectors. The time is yours, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, speakers and the participants of this event. I'm from the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. Could you please to share the presentation? Yeah, I tried to connect the title of the theme of this event as a blue economy as economic growth and social development driver. So I would like to share our policies, the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries policies about the blue economy, particularly in marine and fisheries sector. Next slide, please. Yeah, I think we can see here, this is the roles of marine and fisheries in Indonesia. We already know that we cover of more than 70% of ocean. Our country has already, with a huge ocean, with the more than 17,000 islands, then also have a long coastline, and mostly of the people in Indonesia are living in the coastal areas. And our ocean is a source of the livelihood and life for coastal communities. We have a huge potential of Indonesian fisheries. We have 12 million tons fish per year, our potential for the fish, and then most of the Indonesian people, they also eat consumption fish, and based on our data, we The national fish consumption is about the last data we got is a 65.48 kilogram per capita per year, and the demand for the consumption is 30.11 million tons in 2022. It's quite huge, yeah, and big, but our GDP for fisheries, the GDP is quite small, less than 33%, not 30, less than 3%. Even the GDP for maritime sector, the entire of maritime sector is quite, yeah, about 26%. Yeah, but for fisheries particularly, it's less than, less than 3%. Then we also have many resources, biodiversity resources like mangroves, then also seagrass, coral reefs. I think most of you already know that we have a big population for biodiversity with many various of the biodiversity in Indonesia. Next. But we also already know that we are also seeing that the rapid growth of the new economic activities is also decrease the condition of our marine and coastal resources. I think it is imbalance between the economic and the ocean health. The ocean is very important because ocean also produce the oxygen for us, but ocean also a great absorber for the CO2, which also can make the climate change. And then, but the massive economic like tourism side, I think you may also know, if you read some news, like in Bunaken, they already, Nusa Penida, they already now destruction, and aquaculture exploration and also marine fishing exploration. There's a lot of fishing capture, as many as you can. But next, so our Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, we established the roadmap of the blue economy. So it's already established as a handbook. Maybe in the next months, we can also distribute this roadmap. Nowadays, it is only for internal planning, but in the next months, I hope we can distribute this roadmap, how the policies of the, particularly for marine and fisheries sector, how we can balancing the ocean health and the growth of economy. For simple, maybe if you see the ocean is health, then the economic will be growth because the resource will be in a good condition. That is the simple example. Next, so we have 5 policy programs. So we have three big homework: how to protect the sea and the resources, how to reducing pressure in the fishery sector due to the economic consumption, and how to preserve the marine environment. So we have 5 policies to make or to answer the homework, how to protect the ocean, but also the ocean can be the resources of the economy of Indonesia. So we have 5. The first one is the expansion of marine conservation area. The second one is quota-based fishing. So it's related to the fishing capture. As I mentioned before, previously, you can catch the fish as many as you can, but starting from this year, the, the the government regulation has already established and signed by the president that we will establish the regulation about we establish the regulation about the quota based fishing. So if you want to fish to capture the fish, it should be by quota, like you buy a quota for internet. So you have to propose the quota to government, particularly to us, to the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, and then how many quota you get, it's depend on our. It's depend on the how much the fish stock in our ocean. And then the third one, we also want to develop the sustainable marine, coastal and island aquaculture. And the fourth one, how to surveillance and control on coastal and small islands areas. And the last one, number 5, is about how to manage the plastic pollution. So I will try to explain one by one. Next. This is the first one, the expansion of marine conservation areas. Yeah, I already mentioned a lot about the degradation of marine biodiversity due to the human activities, particularly for economic purpose. And our conservation areas is the place where the blue carbon sequestration can be managed. I think Pak Kus has already mentioned about how important the blue carbon and how we have to manage it. So by the expanded the conservation area, so we can protect the blue carbon ecosystem, because the blue carbon ecosystem has a ability to absorb, to sequestration the carbon 5 times larger than the forest. And the other things is the conservation area is a area for spawning ground and nursery of fish. So we have to protect the conservation area. Until now, we already have less than 10%, about 9% of the total of Indonesian seas as a conservation area. But we have target in 2045 we will have 30% of conservation area. And how the conservation area can be as a social economic driver. So for the next slide. We haven't implement this model as on the marine conservation area, but we try to make a collaborative model, how government can make a collaboration with the private sector or the philanthropies or NGO to manage the conservation area. So government as a planning how the conservation should be protected, and we made that a regulation because government is a regulator. And then we also doing the surveillance to monitor the condition of the conservation area, and also will push the law enforcement in the conservation area. So the private sector or the stakeholders, the philanthropies or NGO, they can manage the conservation area. You can, as stated in the regulation, the conservation area can be used as a marine tourism. So if you have a good condition in marine conservation area, you can have a pristine marine tourism with the natural resources, with expensive ticket, like you go to Maldives, you eager, yeah, you spend money a lot, you can go there. Why we cannot do that in our countries? We have a more pristine area we have to protect, but we can also make it as a economic driver and sell it as a marine tourism. Yeah, but we have to ask to the visitor to also protect, and they have to pay. Yeah, if we can say it's expensive ticket. Because we need the money to manage, yeah, to maintain the pristine area. That's the idea. And in the conservation area, we can also have a Pak Kus also mentioned about the carbon credit, but Pak Kus maybe can how to say can explain more detail than me about the carbon credit, because as I think Pak Kus also know how the marine conservation area has a use of blue carbon ecosystem can be establish the carbon credit. And of course we have to ask the participation of the community so they can have a direct and indirect impact. So we can ask them to work, to manage, and they can have the salary or yeah money as a worker, and they also can have a multiplier effect. They can sell as a restaurant, warung, or anything in there. Okay, that's the idea for the conservation area. So next, that's the second program. We as for the quota-based fishing zones, for the quota-based fishing. So we divide it into 6 zones, and this is open for foreign and domestic investment. We divide it into 6 zones as you can see on the map. Next, and I also make some simulation or example for how the multiplier effects at the one of the zones. It is zone 3. Zone 3 is about in east of Indonesia. So if we give the quota, the fish quota about 1.2 million tons per year, then the government can have the non-tax state revenue. This is PNBP, Pak. Yeah, it's about 79 million US dollar per year. So the non-tax state revenue is also contribution of our sector for the country, for Indonesia. And we can also use it even in only 30%, right? And the multiplier effects of this program, we can generate the labor as a ship crew, as also they can also make develop a shipyard there, and also the clean water, anything service for fishing port, but only for local people. That's for the second program. Yeah. For the next, for the third program, the development of sustainable aquaculture. This program is actually to shifting the habit of capture of the fishing, because if you just fishing, then the fish stock would be then overfishing. There's no stock. There's no stock of fish. Then we try to shift to the aquaculture. I know not all the fish in the ocean can be shift to the aquaculture, but some of them also can be shift to aquaculture. So we ask, or we will develop the aquaculture more than previous. So we have five champion of the commodity: shrimp, lobster, crab, seaweed, and tilapia. Tilapia is nila, yeah, nila something like that. Next. So we have this is a strategy for shrimp production. So in 2024 we have a 2 million ton target for shrimp production, and we have two kind of program, particularly for shrimp production. The first one is to revitalization the existing shrimp pond, the traditional existing shrimp pond. So the production is only 0.6 ton per year. It's very small, but we try to increase the production by the revitalization of the shrimp pond, and we try to increase to 10 to 15 ton per year. And the second one is the modeling. Modeling is made from a greenfield, from zero, not a revitalization. So we make from zero, from just a greenfield, nothing, and then we build the shrimp pond. Next, as you may read on the newspaper about the next, hello, yeah, the integrated shrimp farming in Kebumen. Yeah, it is just established by our president in March. Yeah, I think in March. Yeah, last year. Yeah, last year or this year, I forgot. Yeah, but the President Jokowi established this integrated shrimp farming, and this is also generate the worker for the community around the farming. Next. The fourth one is a sustainable management of the coast and small islands. This is the challenge. This is the also challenge because many of economic activities on the coastal and small island, how to utilize the small island to be a marine tourism as a resort and something, and then reclamation. So what we want is the sea space allocation has to be need to how to say need to get a permission from us. We have a location permit. It is like a ID card, like KTP, Pak. So we call it as PKK-PRL. So everything you will make, or you will any activity on the marine spatial should be yeah, permitted, yeah, from the KKP, yeah, from our ministry. Next. So this is the example how the damaging marine ecology by exploiting marine space, particularly in the coastal and the small islands. This is just example. And the next, so the fifth. Next, yeah. So the minutes of the marine plastic pollution actually. So I think we already know there's a lot of plastic pollution on the sea, and we try to ask the participation of the fishermen to help us to collect the plastic, and then we also ask them to, or teach them how the plastic can be as economic value for them as well. So we teach them how to make it as a circular economy from the plastic pollution. This is the fifth program. I think that's already fifth. The next. So our policies also will be like measured by, we call it as ocean accounting. So ocean accounting will be used as an indicator of the stability between economic growth and marine sustainability. So we need how it can be balancing, and how much the marine contribution to the economy, and how the impact of economic activities, and then the quality of marine management, also how the comprehensive ocean economy beyond the GDP. So the ocean accounting can be used for that. This is our program for next 20 years, I think, until 2045, because the roadmap of blue economy is towards to 2045. Yeah, and then our ultimate goals. Next, please. Yeah, our ultimate goals is to, I think you can resume for my talking, that the protect the marine and coastal as a food provider and economic benefits in a sustainable manner. And the second one, we Indonesia should be the world carbon sequestration epicenter, contributing to the sustainability of human life, because the ocean can be a oxygen producer, and the prevention of global climate change. So the third one, we want to make Indonesian fisheries products as a champion in the world market, with a highly competitive and produce in a sustainable manner. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Rita Tiziana Devi. Very nice to hear your presentation. You reminding us that Indonesia is the world's largest archipelagic country, and we have very important role in maintaining the blue economy of the world, because we have the longest coastal line in the world, I think. You mentioned about the role of marine and fisheries, blue economic policy through 5 strategy. Thank you very much anyway, and we would like invite a question from the audience later on after the 5th speaker. Next, we would like to invite my very best friend. She is a lecturer in Department of Marine Engineering of ITS. I've been an acquaintance since student. Associate Professor Dr. Raja Olwan Saudguning. I think most of colleagues, especially for those who relate to the maritime activities, knows him very well. He is Associate Professor of ITS Surabaya, and today's we are very happy to invite him to present topics on opportunity and strengthening maritime business and industry in the framework of blue economy. This will be very interesting, because maritime industry will be one of the challenges in terms of blue economy, how we could manage the industry at the same time we maintain the sustainability of the maritime economy. Please pass on. You have 20 minutes to deliver your presentation.
Thank you, Professor Buddha. Distinguished participants as well as speakers, Dr. Rita, thank you very much for your presentations. My presentation, please, the materials. I will be going into the second clusters of the blue economy as defined by many international entities or body. Next, we will be going into the maritime business. So I will be talking about the concepts and clusters of maritime business into the ocean blue economy, because this one is quite emerging, good concern and awareness at this time. Blue economy for distribution of maritime business, we will see how much and how big actually the percentage and dominance and contributions, as well as what are the challenges, what actually potentials to be developed for the maritime business. Somehow between marine resources and maritime business, Dr. Nasia, we are overlapping. So sometimes we need to also to join together to calculate and count. You mentioned ocean counting, and we call it maritime counting. So we also have a kind of a recommendations what we can do, not from the perspective of Indonesian, and I will be bringing in many cases, but for ASEAN. Next. So next, there is a quite since 2010 from Paulo Gunter mentions about this blue economy. It was accepted by community like, wow, this is about the ecology or environmental only. But up to now, there are a lot of concerns and interesting part. From government even, they said that due to many disturbances and risks at the moment, the issues of sustainability of three part of the blue economy. One is the economy, second is the social sustainability, and third, ecology sustainability may come to the big interest of many governments, players, even and researchers. One of the four sectors mentions, like this is also defined by ANTAC, is about marine services, or they call it industry. Here, in many cases, we define that one into maritime business, seaborne and trade commerce. So they have non-living resource extractions, exploitation of life resources. Third, seaborne trade commerce. And the fourth, conservation and management ecosystems. And then, as mentioned by many researchers and literatures, actually, this blue economy not only about the conservation issues, but how to be sustainable in many risky and disturbing situations at the moment. And this makes all the players, the business persons, like to adopt this one. Next. So as we see, the issues of the blue economy also similar with the smart system. So when people talking about smart ship, smart port, smart yacht, they also similar with the blue economy, because the blue economy covering these three, but the issue is also mentioning about the equitability, economic development, healthy ecosystem services, science-based innovations, and integrated approach. That's why in the context of the maritime business, particularly for 52 sectors, there are actually 4 sectors: port, shipping, forwarders or logistic operators, as well as shipyard. They are divided more by ANTAC and OECD up to 52 subsectors of maritime business. 52, big, quite big. So the context of the maritime business as seen by the cycle, the small blue becoming green and then becoming white. So it's not only the case or the theoretical from Gunter Pauli, from brown, green to blue economic typical, and then becoming now circular economy, but it is actually similarly with the sustainability. So sustainability issue is the more interesting issues of the blue economy. Next. These are 10 major sectors as recommended by our beloved Professor Soma, and then it is referred from ANTAC because he worked with ANTAC before, becoming 52. I was searching why this 52 coming, and then coming from our previous lecture, Pak Yudo. Yeah, 10, and then divided into 52. So the maritime business in the context of blue economy is coming from the port operators, operational services, shipyard, and then regulations, classification, leisure, shipping supports. Yeah, there are piloted towage, harbor, crew transport, ship-to-ship transfer, legal like arbitration, maritime court, shipping business, and financial bank. And this one is particularly very, very hot issues in the Asia as the center gravity of the global maritime business. And then particularly for the Asia, 30% of it coming from ASEAN. So the business of the maritime business of the world, actually 15 to 20% coming from ASEAN, Asian country. So that's why the issues of how to maintain, to pertain the business from many risks, from many disturbances, up to be resilience, becoming a good issues at the moment for many players, including the regulators. That's why they call it blue economy is quite now as a tool for new driving of the economic development. Next. Let's see for Indonesia. Indonesia as the world second largest fishery sector, as mentioned by Dr. Anastasia, and then it contributes something like 27 billion and providing 7 million jobs. And then this one, a quite big new asset actually out of it will be 21 billion GDP in 2019. From the maritime business perspective, Indonesia, it may create 500 to 600,000 jobs. 500 to 6,000 jobs for the sectors of shipping, port, forwarders, agents, shipyards, and haulage. And then it may contribute, as mentioned by Dr. Anastasia, for the fishery only 6%, right? For the maritime business, it contributes 11.2 up to 11.3%, up to 8 to 9 billion. Next, however, in order to make it balanced, we need to also to consider any waste and garbage, which is quite at the moment big issues in the maritime. Waste and garbage coming from ships, from ports, as well as domestic related waste that also being contributed to many problems within the port, the shipping operation, shipyard, and many entities of the maritime business. Next. For example, this one in Indonesia case, we did a study with GIZ in 2021-2022. They shared to us the issues of the ASEAN, and this one happening in Indonesia. We have problem with the mandatory policy and weak implementations. Unclear notifications of waste and garbage volumes. Weak of facility for waste and garbage, and they consider as cost center, not profit center. Inadequate facilities for waste and garbage management because they consider only for internal purposes. Less and difficulties to monitor. So what you're doing about the navigations, quite they probably support the issues. Complex and overlapping regulation from local to the central government. And because of those problems, illegal dumping options are now practically occurred in many cases. So those are black facts that we are facing in the behind of the good things of the blue economy. Next. It is good to see how actually the policymakers and business people, which one actually would like to concentrate it on, to the resource-based industry or to the service-based industry. In the situations of the less budget, government needs to know. Local governments, including the business persons, would like to know to which I have to go, to the resource-based or to the service-based. If we see the study of the ANTAC, they may bring us the distribution is quite balanced, 50-50, almost 50% to the resource and 50% to the marine business or maritime business. Next. It is very surprised why there is no Indonesia. See here the data, the total for the European countries, they may having something like 80 billion, but in fact Indonesia already received up to 50 billion. There's no Indonesia over there. So I think we need to also to promote what the effort has been doing by Indonesia. Next, the top, and this one for the developing countries. There's no Indonesia as well. But next, so those are the deficiencies occurred by the ANTAC. Next. This one. There's one study undertaken by PIMC. Is very interesting. The results of the study is informing that Indonesia up to 2022 already produced up to 250 billion for the ocean economy. It's quite, that's why many books of the blue economy assume Indonesia is the one center of the prime movers of the ocean economy. But there's not many reports calculating and accounting on those things. So I think we need to start calculating and then exploring. By the PIMC study, it is divided into the brown which is the maritime business, and the green one, the resources. The portions of the maritime business is slightly larger, almost 60% up to 40%. Yeah. Next, if we see the maritime business divisions or structures, 40% coming from maritime transport and related services for freight, 20% from port service infrastructures, 20% from maritime logistics, 30% from maritime logistics, 25% for port, and 5% from shipyard. So shipyard is the less entities or communities at this time having or producing good economy as well as social development and better protections of the environment. And then the last one actually is not noted or not explored, is about potential of marine tourism. We need to explore this one. It's quite open yet. Next. This is the data that mentions by Captain. And then, well, the Indonesian issues of the fleet, probably we are now facing the issues of replacing 75% of our existing aging vessels more than 25 years. That's the big issues. Good issue actually. And then utilizing new technology for ship engine and propulsions with the environmentally friendly fuel like low sulfur fuel, LNG, hydrogen fuel, including battery, particularly for small vessels like barges and harbor tugs. And then could be a ro-ro vessel to be developed for alternative containerized transport among islands. Next. For Indonesian port, we see there could be a more possible higher availability of towage services, better dredging, usage of new energy for ports, and better environmental protection, including port waste and garbage management. This is the issue for the next, for Indonesia issue. Next, for Indonesian port development, again, new alternative of energy. We do have some 2,622 ports, quite big possibility for develop, room for development. More availability for electrical crane and equipment, harbor tug with new alternative energy, reception facility for ship waste and garbage, process for installation for waste and garbage, green technology for berthing called iron, multimodal transport using inland barge, railway, and then potential to provide more jobs, new businesses, and contractual business partnerships. So yes, the blue economy concept may also create many jobs. Next, this one probably related to the ocean, the marine resources for the industry, but some of the operations also done or carried out by maritime business entities. Potential development for innovation for fishery logistics. We need to have additional coal transport carrying various fishing products, additional ship space, including empty river container for the products like fishing products, integrated multi-modes of transport from inland, sea, up to the air transport if we want to export our fishing product, and additional shipping routes dedicated with the good connectivity, frequency, and empty containers at various inland endpoints for additional fishing product services. Next. These are our potential issues to be developed on the maritime business, varying from the economic point of view, community point of view, and ecology point of view. You can see there are many issues to be developed and needs to be concerned. Next, then how to do that then? These three, we need to have better business process by having digitalizations. So your notions to have the navigation is really correct, Pa. Yes, because that may simple your business process and bring higher portions of the capacity. Strengthening HRD competencies. We need to have more strengthening because our students, our operators, our lecturers, and our bureaucrats need to know and aware about the impacts of the environment. And they have to also consider about the economic impacts to the community. So then the last one, we need to have reliable waste and sea pollutions. In doing so, we can unlocking our capacity so far, probably due to the many problems that we have been facing to the environment. And then this is a good initiative from government to push and to bring more incentive based on ocean and blue economy. Next. For the recommended ocean economy for the Indonesian new orientation in the future, we need to have ships with red and white flag in international water. By doing that one, we need also to be more responsible, maintaining and then fulfilling international regulations on environment. Second, Indonesia as a major global food source from fishing resources. Third, coastal and marine tourism of Indonesia as important world destinations. Fourth, ocean energy in Indonesia as a significant international reference. And the fifth, productive and efficient catch fishing aquaculture. This is the visions. Next, these are the jargon. I don't know, it's not clearly mentions there. We need to have Indonesian flag in global waters, dependency of maritime business, global maritime acts, beauty and life of the seas. We need to focus on community-based and value-added. Next. I think this one is already, this one for the energy, well, this one is some kind of chicken and eggs. So the issues of which one that governments or private entities need to have, whether the solar cell or the LNG or the solar connections or low sulfur fuel that at the moment happening, becoming quite not unclear for the business persons. The determining factors of this one still government to support and government to do and to direct us. Market and rational life cycle and cost profiles. And then the last one, the commitment, including efforts in protecting our oceans. Next. This one for the marine tourisms. There are big potentials of 2.5 million domestic and international tourists going into the marine tourism with the value at 1 to 2 billion US dollars in value per year. This coming from Ministry of Tourism. Next. And next. I will be going directly how then for the Asian. We need to have partnerships. For example, combating the pollutions, combating the garbage as well as waste of the vessels is not only the responsibility of one country, but one regional countries. For ASEAN, I think we need to have collaborations in combating this environmental impact, as well as the networking of reception facilities, smart port and shipping, and then mobilizations of probably we need to have also people-to-people interactions between experts, not only high ranks, but as well as to fishermen, probably to the operators. Next. The issue of the blue economy in many countries is whether the government needs to be more favorable to community or to the big corporations. This is quite big issues. One investment, I need to go to the community, let them to do the investment, while give the concessionary to the corporations. From the perspective of blue economy, they could be both. But as long as the social driving factors can bring economy, ecologically, as well as the growth, bringing those community and corporations, we need to more focus on community. Next. Last one, the most important fundamental support is the human resources. from the top of the bureaucrat policymakers up to students as well as common people needs to understand about the blue economy. We need to teach and to have that one from the lectures in the school, and then particularly to the business person, maritime business, we need to have competent Indonesian seafarers, logistic planning for better flagship commodity over the international market, as well as the innovations for the new maritime science and technology. Next. I think that's all, Professor Buddha, that I can share. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you very much, Pak Dr. Saud Gurning. As usual, I'm always happy to hear your presentation. You've been mentioning about the paradoxical situation. I think, in one side we want to push the industry, maritime-based industry, but on the other side we need to make it environment and then sustainability of the blue economy is maintained. So that will be very much challenging to us. A lot of strategy and action need to be done. We actually have another one presenters. Okay.
Yes.
We actually have another one presenters, which is Ibu Dr. Amalia Adininggar Widyasanti.
Yeah.
She is the Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs, Ministry of National Development Planning, or Bappenas. And today we are very honored to host her to present her presentation with the title Blue Economy Development in Indonesia and ASEAN. It will be the most important part of today's discussion, since this event is organized by the Asian Federation of Engineering Association. Ibu Dr. Amalia Adininggar Widyasanti, we would like to provide you with 20 minutes for your presentation before we have further discussion. The time is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for organizing this event and inviting us to share with you all regarding to blue economy development in Indonesia and ASEAN. I think this is very timely in ASEAN Engineer Association talking about blue economy, because it happened during the ASEAN Chairmanship 2023 of Indonesia. We actually promote the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework in the ASEAN context, and then would like to have the blue economy become one of the future engines of ASEAN economic growth later on. I'm going to start with sharing with you regarding to the development policy of blue economy in Indonesia. Probably the previous speakers already shared with you regarding to the Indonesian modalities on blue economy. For your information, that Indonesia consisted of more than 500,000 islands, which is of course connected by the sea and oceans. We also have more than 30,000 kilometer coastline, and around more than 5 million fishermen and fish farmers are actually in Indonesia, and 65% of Indonesia's area is covered by the sea. On top of it, that Indonesia, during the Juanda Declaration that we have in the exclusive economic zone, Indonesia has the right to manage and utilize all its ocean resources for the purpose of exploration, exploitation, conservation, and the development of and the utilization of the natural resources from the ocean. In next slide number 6. I'm going to slide number 6. Actually, Indonesia is actually will be doing the Indonesian economic transformation. Sorry, slide number 5. In this context, that it is a must Indonesia have to do the economic transformation agenda as it is stipulated and stated in our final draft of Indonesia's long-term development plan. And among the strategy of economic transformation of Indonesia to be able to achieve the Indonesia Vision 2045. And one of the economic sector that will be improved in the future is blue economy. So why blue economy? Yeah, again, I will tell you later on in the next slide. So with the context of Indonesia is having, the area of oceans, we also would like to share with you that before Indonesia developed the blue economy roadmap, we 2 years ago, slide number 8, please. We developed the blue economy development framework for Indonesia's economic transformation. And then in this framework, we are actually building a common consensus and also a new paradigm and building the common concern about the importance of blue economy in Indonesia. So within 2 years, after we released the blue economy development framework, then we try to finalize the blue economy roadmap. And then finally, the blue economy roadmap of Indonesia was launched last month, early July, during the ASEAN Blue Economy Forum in Belitung. And again, ASEAN also committed to the blue economy since 2021, because in ASEAN has a leader's declaration on the blue economy. A blue economy for ASEAN refers to the sustainable, resilient, and inclusive use, as well as governance, management, and conservation of oceans, seas, and coastal. Next slide. So in this opportunity, I would like to share with you that Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap 2023 to 2045 was launched last year. And then inside the Blue Economy Roadmap, slide number 10, we have vision that the diverse coastal and marine resources have to be managed sustainably through the knowledge-led blue economy that can create socio-economic prosperity and ensure a healthy marine environment. So with that, in the Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap, we have 4 missions. The first mission is to secure healthy, resilient, and productive ocean. Mission number 2 is to promote environmentally sustainable economic growth from the ocean's resources. And mission number 3 is to improve human health, well-being, and shared prosperity. And mission number 4 is to create an enabling environment by addressing the cross-cutting issues through the improvement of coordination and quality of policies and governance, as well as the institutional capacity building and sustainable financing. So Indonesia is not stopped until the preparation of and the launch of the Blue Economy Roadmap, because since we launched the Blue Economy Development Framework, and then we continue with the development of Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap. And this year, we also promote the Blue Economy Framework in the ASEAN context during the ASEAN Chairmanship 2023 of Indonesia. And then this is just to let you know the launch of Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap, where this is the roadmap is one of Indonesia's steps, the important step towards the blue economy development, because we understand that blue economy is a new engine of economic growth as one strategy to achieve the Indonesia's 2045 vision. Next slide. You can download the Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap from our website, and you can read the book, the electronic copy of the book, and in the book, there will be a vision, main target, mission, strategy, and also outcome, and also the action plan, or we call it the quick wins of the action plans. Next slide. This is the vision that I told you recently already. And the macro goal in slide number 15. The macro goal of 2045 is that we would like to achieve the GDP contribution of maritime sector around 15%. And the priority sector that will be uplifted and developed for the blue economy roadmap in the blue economy roadmap is fishery capture and aquaculture, marine-based industries. This is actually manufacturing industry based from the marine resources, trade and coastal tourism and ocean tourism, as well as emerging sectors such as renewable energy, biotechnology, and bioeconomy, as well as research and education and marine conservation. This is actually the stages. Next slide. The stages of blue economy roadmap of where within this year and next year we would like to strengthen the consolidation of Indonesia's blue economy ecosystem. Then in the next 5 years, we'll develop the Indonesia's blue economy as a new sources of growth. And then in the next 5 year, 2030 to 2034, there will be an expansion of Indonesia's blue economy sector through diversification. And in 2035 to 2039, there will be an increase of contribution and competitiveness of Indonesia's blue economy. And we would like, at the end of 2045, we would like to achieve the Indonesia's advanced and sustainable blue economy that can be the global, that can lead the economic growth of not only for Indonesia, but also for the region. Next slide. So what we would like to share with you regarding to what we are now doing after the launch. Now we are developing the National Blue Economy Secretariat in our ministry, and the objective is to support and to monitor and to evaluate the implementation of Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap, because without a close coordination and monitoring, that usually that it will be very difficult to implement any roadmap comprehensively. So with that, in our ministry, we developed this National Blue Economy Secretariat. Next slide. What we would like also to highlight with you that we also developed the Indonesia Blue Economic Index as a tools for monitoring and evaluation, where the index consisting of the sustainability pillar, value-added pillar, and also inclusiveness pillar. Next slide. This is the calculation of the Indonesia Blue Economic Index, that we can have the index until provincial level. So from this index, we can see that East Java is actually having the highest blue economy index in Indonesia, and the lighter the color is, then the lower the index are. So like this, we can see that some provinces have the lowest index of blue economy, and there are like some other provinces such as South Sulawesi and Maluku quite having a strong potential on blue economy because of the color, and the index is quite high. Next slide. So the timeline, next slide, please. Next. So, and in this opportunity as well, I would like to share with you regarding to the development of ASEAN Blue Economy Framework. Next. We already have a lot of a long process and a long journey in ASEAN meetings, and we also have got a lot of inputs from ASEAN member countries regarding to the draft of the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework. Right now, we already reached the final stage of the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework, and the draft will be, and the final draft of the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework will be endorsed by the ministerial level meeting in ACC and AEC meeting. Next. So what we developed for the ASEAN context, that Blue Economy for ASEAN also will be the new engine for economic growth in the ASEAN region. And we also developed the refined definition of the Blue Economy for ASEAN, where ASEAN defines the Blue Economy as the integrated, holistic, cross-sectoral, and cross-stakeholder approach that can create value added and value chain of resources from the ocean, seas, and freshwater in a more inclusive and sustainable way, making the Blue Economy as the new engine for ASEAN's future economic growth. So ASEAN Blue Economy covers upstream, downstream sectors, serving as an accelerator of the conventional marine sector and the catalyst for emerging sectors, and also including education as well as other emerging sectors from the aquatic resources. So the guiding principle of the ASEAN Blue Economy will be value creation, inclusiveness, and sustainability. ASEAN also have 3 blue strategies and blue enablers. The blue strategies are blue conservation management, blue science, technology, and innovation, as well as blue priority sectors. And the blue enablers are the blue infrastructure, institutional setting, sustainable finance and investment, as well as capacity building to reduce the development gap among the ASEAN member states. Next slide. So meaning that, again, this slide is to highlight that the ASEAN Blue Economy is building upon the existing block, where it is aligned with ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint and also aligned with ASEAN Carbon Neutrality Strategy, that the 3 pillars of ASEAN Blue Economy is actually very much aligned with the ASEAN principles: value creation, inclusivity, and sustainability. Next slide. So what is the milestone of the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework? It is a long journey since early this year during the Indonesia's chairmanship in ASEAN 2023. That right now we just finished and already seek endorsement from HLTF EI meeting last month, July, and then we'll get endorsement of ASEAN Blue Economy Framework in the AECC, ASEAN Economic Community Council meeting, and also we'll get endorsement by the ASEAN Coordinator Council, and also in September, we'll get adoption by the ASEAN leaders during the 43rd ASEAN Summit in Bali. So by then, by September, that we'll be having the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework adopted by the ASEAN leaders. And then next year, we will start how to really implement the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework during Laos chairmanship next year. Next slide. So what we could report to you during the ASEAN meetings and ASEAN Blue Economy Forum, the key takeaways during the ASEAN meetings is that Blue Economy is actually an aquatic-based economy, not only ocean, because we would like to include other country, a landlocked country such as Laos, to also get involved and get benefit from the blue economy. So that's why the definition of blue economy in the ASEAN is covering also not only marine, but also freshwater economies. And for your information, that each ASEAN member state has a common understanding on the importance and the benefits of blue economy for the ASEAN region. We would like to see that oceans is not separated ASEAN members, but our oceans is actually becoming a tool to connect the ASEAN member states. And ASEAN believe that blue economy will be the new engine of economic growth, and it is also very much aligned with the 2023 theme ASEAN Chairmanship of Indonesia, where the theme of ASEAN 2023 is ASEAN Matters as the epicentrum of growth. So all ASEAN member states agreed that blue economy will create an inclusive, sustainable, innovative, and resilient economic development. And blue economy will also cover marine conservation and healthy ocean. Next slide. And also, I can share with you regarding to that we would like to further advance the blue economy agenda in ASEAN. And then again, in ASEAN, blue economy will be tackled as a cross-pillar and cross-sectoral collaboration. And technological advancement and innovation in blue economy is very important because innovation and new technological is really needed to expand the role of blue economy in the region. Next slide. So I'll stop there and thank you very much.
So, hello, could you hear my voice?
Yeah, just now I lost your voice, but now I can hear your voice back.
Again, I repeat, Dr. Amalia, thank you very much for your very nice presentation. You've been presenting the Blue Economy Roadmap 2023-2025, including several KPI and priority sector alongside the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework, covering the values creation, sustainability, and others. We are going to go to the discussion session, and based on the question I obtained through the chat room, allow me to first share the question to Dr. Amalia. As you mentioned that the Blue Economy Framework will be the guidelines, national guidelines for the blue economy of Indonesia. Could you share the timeline when the document of all ministry and institution will be ready and the role of the local government? Hello? I think it's all right. Oh, she is on the phone. Or maybe the speakers here in the studio, would you have any information when the...
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear your voice, Pak.
Sorry,
Can you repeat again, please?
the question coming from one participant. So he considered that the Blue Economy Framework, National Blue Economy Roadmap will be the national guideline.
Yeah.
And it must be supported by the program or roadmap of each ministry, relevant ministry. When do you consider that this document will be ready? Since the 2024 will be signed in ASEAN level.
I think I need to repeat again that there will be like two tracks that we are actually preparing. One is the national document for Indonesia, which is the Indonesia Blue Economy Roadmap, and then that is actually involve across line ministries in Indonesia. And probably if you look at the document in details, there is actually, we already identified which ministries is actually responsible for each activity for implementing the blue economy in Indonesia. And track number 2 is that Indonesia, as a member of ASEAN, is actually prepare something, and it has an initiative for the ASEAN to build a common consensus and common framework that blue economy will be the engine of future ASEAN economic growth. We call it, this is the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework. And then the question is that whether later on ASEAN Blue Economy, ASEAN will also create a roadmap. We are planning to do that, but because of it is for the region, we have to discuss further with the other ASEAN member states. But again, for ASEAN Blue Economy Framework is also cross-sectoral issues, and it involves many ASEAN bodies. We already taken into account inputs from the ASEAN bodies, sectoral bodies. So because in ASEAN that sector responsibility, we call it, there is a body in ASEAN, we call it sectoral bodies. We already got a lot of input from the sectoral bodies. We already informed to other pillars of ASEAN, not only the economic pillar, but everyone in ASEAN now is welcoming the ASEAN Blue Economy Framework.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Amalia. So I would like to go to the second question to Bapak Kapten Budi Mantoro. It's related the contribution of shipping business in Indonesia to the the blue economy, because we consider that marine activities, including shipping, will provide challenges in pollution, waste, and so on. What is the strategy of Minister of Transportation to overcome the situation alongside with to support the blue economy?
Okay, Mr. Professor, that was Minister of Transportation also support this blue economy, but for the logistic, every ship export no prepare the share connection for the electric for this prohibited the emission if the vessel berthing the ports. Relating the support South presentation, also Indonesia will continue the develop of the navigation of a port and also develop a shipping industry in Indonesia to the green port. The same like this, Mr. South supporting this navigation. Then as after navigation, we hope the Directorate Ports, yeah, for the revision of the regulation of Minister number 57 of this piloted for this minimize the physics the pilot body. Okay.
Okay, so you mean that the ministry will deliver several regulation, especially how about the use of a clean fuel?
Yes, there's no for this clean fuel by B29 already to B30 now. For this example, for this vessel for the public service obligation, semua kapal ya subsidi must be to use fuel B30. Yes.
And any clue about the LNG as the fuel for the ship?
Still use B29 and then N30.
So you don't think there will be a new regulation?
New regulation for the prepare for the IMO for the LNG and
Right.
yes, and the electric by generator.
Thank you, Cap. Let me go to Ibu, that one of the participant, Bapak Hasan from ICAO, raising question that allow me to read. By opening Manado as transportation hub, it will shorten the distance from the East Indonesia fishing ground to potential Asia market, such as Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. It will make a competitive price for the premium fish product. Today, most of the fisheries product from eastern part of Indonesia was exported through Jakarta, Denpasar, or Surabaya. Any response, Bu?
Yeah, thank you. I think yeah, I didn't explain much about the second program, the quota-based fishing. That program also includes how the fish logistic to uh, prepare to be prepared. Uh, based on the zones, we divided the Indonesian Sea as a 6 zones. So actually, the regulation would say that if you get the fish in that zone, so you cannot take the fish into another zone. So you have to land the fish into the port in the designated port in that zones that you get the fish. So it means that if you catch the fish in the zone 3, so you cannot take the fish into another zone, into the zone 2 or zone 1. And we already prepare the port in that particular zone. And then we also preparing the logistic how to say the logistic chain, and to keep the quality of the fish and to make it higher, the price higher. So the fish will also export it not from Jakarta but from that particular port. I think so. We have already the plan how to make the logistic chain, the transportation, and yeah, I cannot explain detail because yeah, it is in our roadmap, but that's the one of our plan in the roadmap as a logistic, the fish logistic, including the domestic logistic also in for export.
Thank you, Ibu. Continuing to the previous question, Pak Saud, allow me to ask you. As long as I know, we don't have cold chain design right now. The supply chain, concept for fisheries product. Do you think that will be support the blue economy target while we have a design for such kind of supply chain model, Pak Saud? In terms of marine transportation, I think you are the expert. Maybe you can provide us with your insight, please.
You're right, Professor Buddha. So, Pak Hasan, I fully agree with you as well as Bu Anastasia. If we assume that the distance is considered as an important factors, then we have to provide better facilities or infrastructures. Not only that, but also the logistic assets. However, it is quite difficult at the moment. For example, taking the case, I don't know whether you are aware about Indonesians, but for example, taking the case, for example, the fishing zone in Tobelo, not Maluku, and they have a very rich area over there, and then to be exported to the Philippines or even to the lucrative market in Eastern Asia as well as to the European or American is quite difficult because they have to go down to the Ternate, from the Ternate to the Benoa. It's likely if they have direct big ships there, they may directly export it from Benoa or Denpasar by air transportations, or going to the Surabaya, Tanjung Perak, to be exported by bigger vessels or mainline operators. So yes, in terms of volume, it's not big, but in terms of value, it's very big. So next time, I think government needs to have that one, to have a very hub consolidating points in eastern of Indonesia. One way to do it is not to have a separate definition of the port, Professor Buddha. So now we having fishing port, general port, they are close, but they are not integrated, right? And then we invested over investment between the two. So why don't we have, and we combine those two, for example, the fishing vessels, the fishing port provide the containers, all the things, the standards, the regulations, and then once it's already ready, and then transport to the general port, and then they may be consolidated with a certain scale of economy, and then they be on to load it into the international export. This kind of thing, I know from the director of the logistic of fishing MOF, they are preparing for this one, but they need to have a support from the maritime business entities, from shipping company. We need to have shipping company port dedicated for the fishing products, as well as for the multi-modes of transport with the airline as well as the airport. That's why the blue economic advise us, do not work independently. We need to have collaboratively to have sustainable achievement and goals. So I think, yeah, this is one examples that we would like to have if we would like to decide the, what do you call it, the Banda Sea as the global or the world source of tuna. Then we need to have that one as a logistic hub in that area.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Pak Saud. I would like to call Pak Nanang Haryanto, raising one question: what are the economic benefits of blue carbon? Allow me to check Pak Kus Pristiadi. Are you still there, Pak? I know Pak Kus is now on, business trip to Sulawesi. Okay then. Any one of you could explain what is the benefit blue carbon? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think I can help to answer the question, economic benefit. As I mentioned in my presentation, the blue carbon ecosystem is include the mangroves and seaweed, seagrass. Sorry, seagrass. In Indonesia, we only have that two kind of blue carbon ecosystem. So that those two blue carbon ecosystem, as I mentioned as well, that can absorb, can sequestration the CO2, the carbon larger than forests. So if we can calculate how many carbon can be absorbed, and then you can also calculate the carbon credit from that. That's the economic benefits from the blue carbon ecosystem. I think Pak Kus already also mentioned about the regulation. Yeah, number 28 in 2022 or 2021 about the value of economic carbon and how we can have the credit from the carbon light. So that's that one of the economic benefit of for blue carbon.
Baik Ibu, allow me to add information. Luckily, I'm from the Laboratory of Safety. We have one product called ICE ITS, Bu. This real-time monitoring system can calculate the carbon emitted from ships. So in terms of carbon trading from the ships, yeah. So by combining the information of ship dimension and then the speed, power of the engine, then we can real-time calculate the number of the emission emitted by the ship. Not only that one, we can also predict the dispersion of the emission. So we can estimate the amount of CO2, CO, NOx, and then other particulate matter in a certain area by combining the information from the SIP as well as the environmental data. I think that will be also one of the alternative to counting the carbon emitted from ships, and will be very much important in the near future. Pak, Captain Budi, do you have any comments on that one, Pak? Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Prof. But the IES for use the monitoring, but we mentioned for this carbon dioxide, then speed, the vessel, and then propulsion used for this fuel for this result the carbon dioxide. Yes, for this I comment for this today, but IES for this development and inform to us if install IES from the any place, but I need ID to IES to iMotion application. I hope so this for have IES. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Cap. I'm very happy to hear that audience and Ibu and Pak Saud, Ministry of Transportation have iMotion, and we have a research consortium between 12 universities in Indonesia, mostly in eastern part of Indonesia. We install quite many AIS, and one of the application is the use of AIS for calculating the emission emitted by the ship. So our cooperation will be very much beneficial to support the blue economy of Indonesia, hopefully. I think we almost arrive at the end of the time provided by the committee. Allow me to read a bit some comments from audience written in the chat room from Bapak. This is I'm very happy to read this because it's given by my senior, I think, Bapak Naufal Bahresi, asking the committee to provide the materials so all of us can access the materials discussed today. Again, thank you very much for all distinguished speakers, Ibu Dr. Amalia Adininggar, and then Bapak Dr. Kus Prastia Hadi, Bapak Kapten Budimantoro, very happy to meet you here today. Then Ibu Dr. Rita Tisyana Dewi, we've been discussing Pak Saud, then very soon we will invite you to come to ITS to provide us with more information about the roadmap of blue economy in terms of marine and fisheries. And then again, Bapak Associate Professor Dr. Saud Guning, and to all audience representing the committee, I would like to send our gratitude, and hopefully you have a good time. Thank you very much, and I return to the Master of Ceremony, Bu Fadila, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you very much to the moderator and all remarkable speakers who have shared their thoughts about the blue economy. Now, after an engaging day of knowledge sharing and discussion, it is now time for us to bring this event to a close. But before we do, let us hear some closing remarks from the Secretary General of PII, Bapak Insinyur Bambang Guritno. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished speakers, Pak Moderator, Pak Ketut, Professor Ketut. Finally, we would like to conclude this seminar, this webinar. I would like to thank and congratulate the organizers of the Asian Engineering Business Summit who successfully organized this third FGD event this afternoon. The AVO committee and the management of the Institution of Engineers, or PIE, for supports and endorsement. My warm gratitude to ladies and gentlemen, participants of the third FGD as part of ASEAN Engineering Business Summit. Yeah. After having several speakers delivered their presentation, we came to an end to the closing event where I had made several key takeaways. Yeah. From Mr. Kus Prasetya Hadi, Assistant Deputy of Climate Change and Disaster Management, presented the strengthening blue carbon ecosystem in Indonesia. Carbon pricing is crucial for ESG climate action, and mangrove as one of the blue carbon offset readiness. And then the second speaker, Bapak Kapten Budi Mantoro, Navigational Director, Ministry of Transportation, spoke a strategy of maritime transport sector for blue economy. And then Ibu Dr. Rita Tiziana Dwi Kuswardani, Head of the Center for Socio-Economic Research, the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, Indonesia, presented marine and fisheries role in Indonesia. The goals are protect the marine and coastal as food provider. And then secondly, she mentioned about Indonesia should be the world carbon sequestration epicenter. And the third is to make Indonesian fishery products champion in the world market. Then the fourth speaker, Bapak Professor Dr. Saud Kuning, from the ITS Surabaya, presented Blue Economy in Maritime Business, Recommendation and Future Blue Economy Initiative for Maritime Business. And then finally, Ibu Amelia, who is speaking from South Korea, I guess. South Korea, Bu Amelia is from Bappenas, presented Blue Economy Roadmap of Indonesia. Kindly allow us again to express our deepest gratitude to the organizers, moderator, Bapak Moderator, and distinguished speakers for your great contribution to this FGD. Blue economy is the next economic growth and social development driver. This topic is also one of the contemporary engineering issues in Indonesia and ASEAN, and from PII perspective. This kind of event is our commitment to continue encouraging our ASEAN engineers to continuously contribute their thoughts and ideas to the society, nation, and the country, keep updating their knowledge and developing their professionalism. We also would like to extend our invitation to all speakers and participants to join the Engineering Business Summit. The exact schedule will be advised sooner to further elaborate and discussion on the blue economy development in the ASEAN, which consists of seminar and exhibitions. The third FGD is now officially closed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, always guide and protect all our steps in realizing our common goals. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Again, thank you very much, Pak Bambang, for your clear and encouraging closing remarks. Your support and guidance are invaluable to our shared vision for the development of blue economy ecosystem in Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this Engineering Business Summit, let us carry the momentum forward and work together to transform ASEAN into a leading hub for blue economy. Through collaboration, innovation, and determination, we can create a sustainable and efficient future for maritime industries, environment, and policy. On behalf of the Institutions of Engineers Indonesia, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to all speakers, participants, and organizers who have made this summit a resounding success. Your commitment and contributions are deeply appreciated. Lastly, let's close this agenda with the March of PII. Thank you all for joining us today. We wish you a safe journey home. I'm Fadila, would like to see you again in the next occasion. Thank you and very good evening, everyone.
Insinyur Indonesia senantiasa menjunjung tinggi integritasnya, bekerja sungguh-sungguh dengan semangat profesionalismenya, utamakan keluhuran budi, amalkan ilmu dengan kompetensi, berikan yang terbaik, selalu yang terbaik sebagai karya baktimu. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia, sejahterakanlah bangsa dan negara. PII Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia. Insinyur Indonesia senantiasa menjunjung tinggi integritasnya, bekerja sungguh-sungguh dengan semangat profesionalismenya, utamakan keluhuran budi, amalkan ilmu dengan kompetensi, berikan yang terbaik, selalu yang terbaik sebagai karya baktimu. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia, sejahterakanlah bangsa dan negara. Teruslah berjuang membangun Indonesia, sejahterakanlah bangsa dan